Amidst popular Amphibia fan theories about the Calamity Box and the Calamity Trio in Amphibia's overarching storyline, one YouTuber has come up with a lesser known but still just as interesting fan theory about 3 of Amphibia's side characters. For more on this, it's time for a deeper dive. Co. This is my late Thanksgiving special video on December 10th. Last week I made a late Halloween special video on December 3rd about how Camp Coral and Patrick Starr's show had special Halloween episodes that took me by surprise with how entertaining they were and how great they were, and they used the main setting of and format of their spin-off to their full advantage. To see Stanju's full video about what an Amphibia makes him think that Wally Ribbiton is Ivy Sundu's dad, click the link in the description below. I have actually made a previous video on this topic about stuff I observed after Stanju pointed out to me. Regarding Ivy on the Run's connection to swamp insensibility. And he's right. It's not a coincidence, because one other thing I noticed that Stanju the Talking Dog probably hasn't noticed is that Swamp Insensibility and Ivy on the Run actually both have the same writer and storyboard directors. Both episodes were written by Gloria Shen, who was also written for Every Which Way. And they're also both storyboarded by Alicia Roca and Silver Paul. I think it's really interesting how Gloria Shen told the same story with 2 different Amphibia side characters, that the Plantar family and Ann know and love from Mortwood. In Season 2 of Amphibia, Wally Ribbiton and Ivy Sundu both get their own episode focusing on them, in which they are fed up with the roles of their parents who want them to inherit the family business. Wally Ribbiton's dad, Wigbert Ribbiton, wants him to inherit the Ribbiton toe floss family business, and Ivy Sundu's mom, Felicia Sundu, as well as her grandma, Sylvia Sundu, I assume, even though she wasn't in this episode, want Ivy to inherit the Sundu family business of making and serving tea. Wally Ribbiton and Ivy Sundu do not like that. They both want to travel and see the world around them. And Wally Ribbiton and Ivy Sundu, who are the main characters of their own story in the episode Swamp Insensibility and Ivy on the Run, they both consult one of Amphibia's usual main characters for help. Then Wally's dad and Ivy's mom challenge them to a family match where if they win, then they can assert their independence and they're free to go. And if they lose, then they have to stay with their parent and to take over the family business of Floss and tea. Ivy on the Run actually had an interesting twist on when Wally's dad wouldn't allow him to ride one of the Ribbiton family beasts because he doesn't want to be a part of the Ribbiton family anymore. Anne agreed to be Wally's beast since she got him into this trouble, so maybe she can get him out of it. However, in Ivy on the Run, Felicia Sundu actually helps Ivy beat her by teaching her to apply those same moves from her tea chores to the Muay Thai match they're having.
One of the things that I really gravitated towards was in one of the early episodes. There's a moment in an episode that Matt wrote where Anne is talking to Sprig about, basically it's like about, she wants Sprig to do something that he's not comfortable with, and she kind of has like this like moment of snapping, and she's like, if your friend wants you to do something, you don't do it, you do it anyway, or like your friend wants something that's yours, you give it to them, because if you don't, like, you don't know if they want to be your friend anymore. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I just felt like that is a very relatable story for teenage girls.
When Gloria Shen was sitting next to Matt Brawley discussing Amphibia with him to their audience before its premiere, she mentioned an important scene from Best Friends when how Anne said that, if your best friend wants you to do something you probably shouldn't do, then you should do it so that they'll like you. So it's kind of interesting to see how she wrote a variety of different stories in Amphibia to show how, while Anne feels a certain way to want to win Sasha's approval, Wally Ribbiton and Ivy Sundu feel just the opposite about their parents, Wigbert and Felicia, where, Wally and Ivy don't really care what their parents think about them wanting to do different things, having different desires, than to inherit the same job as them. It's kind of neat how Gloria Shen seems to have made Ivy on the Run an indirect sequel to Swamp and Sensibility by throwing One-Eyed Wally into the picture, whereas he understood how to fight at Muay Thai with Anne much better than Polly, and the camera pans over to Wally sitting next to Sprig and Anne when Felicia Sundew says,
"Oh, honey, where do you think I met your father?"
Mom, please. Well, I guess our work here is done.
To be honest, I have no idea what's going on.
After Wally and Ivy's family match against their parents, where they fight to assert their independence, they are impressed to learn that Wigbert and Felicia secretly share their interests in playing music and traveling around the world to fight and collect tea.
Ah, accordion, eh? You know, I used to love playing the jug, but I gave it up a long, long time ago. Oh, all right, you got me.
You've been holding out on me.
I also explained in my earlier video about Wally and Felicia that if Wally and Felicia fell in love because they both had Muay Thai matches together and that's how they fell in love and made Ivy Sundew, that could also explain why Wally's left eye is closed all the time. Wally's eye may be like that because Felicia Sundew punched it out during one of their Muay Thai matches. You can watch Standrew's video to learn the rest of the information that I decided not to repeat in this video about what Wally and Felicia's backstory could have been together. And if you want to learn more about the way Gloria Shen writes Amphibia episodes with Matt Brawley, you can click the other link in the description below. I have to say, it's rather nice how she wrote Amphibia episodes for James Patrick Stewart and Katie Crown, letting them put their voice acting talents to the test after James Patrick Stewart has spent many years starring in the soap operas All My Children and General Hospital, and he also plays the main character in the live-action series Andy Richter Controls the Universe and the animated series The Penguins of Madagascar. Katie Crown, of course, is famous for playing Izzy in Total Drama and Tulip and Storks, the girl named after the flower that Chuck grows in Amphibia, which could actually be why Matt Brawley has Chuck says he grows tulips. And you know, Katie Crown's also famous for being a writer and a voice actor in Bob's Burgers and Clarence. So it's really nice to see that Amphibia never wasted James Patrick Stewart and Katie Crown's prior well-known acting talents. And I also commend Gloria Shen for realizing that Anna and the Plantars' long journey from Worldwood to Newtopia in Season 2 also worked as a brilliant plot device to show how Wally and Ivy, two of their friends from Wortwood, also wanted to travel like them. It's pretty sad for Wally that he lives in the same town as the Sundew family, but he doesn't live in the same home with them because Wally and the Sundews have shown to have some pretty great affection to each other when Wally was helping Ivy and Sprig fight off the Chicklisk in Return to Wortwood, and when Felicia and Ivy warmed up to Wally when they loved seeing how he was playing with the baby cat moths in Fight or Flight.
Guess what, Sprig? Grime just told me they discovered a new continent, untouched by frog, newt, or toad. Feel like a new adventure? I'm in!
It's also really nice that Ivy Sundew gets to have another adventure with Sprig, traveling to a new, previously unseen continent on the alternate dimension planet of Amphibia 10 years after Anne Boone, Choi, and Marcy Wu have left them. If King Andreas knew anything about Felicia's past relationship with One-Eyed Wally, it would be pretty funny if he revealed to the Sundews and Wally something they didn't want Ivy to know. And given the fact that Felicia has an affinity for Muay Thai and making tea, King Andreas would probably follow up that reveal with something clever like,
"Oops, looks like I spilled the tea, as you kids say."
Spill the tea. You do not know how that, such a clever setup for someone to use it in another conversation, as a meme for another conversation about a family that's related to tea. Spilling tea, that's something Felicia didn't want Ivy to do all this time. This has been a deeper dive. Co.